Mid-November in Paris, Hugo Desnoyer holds a signing session. This man is no writing virtuoso, he's a butcher. But he has just published his second cookbook. Inevitably, necessarily meat-based.
A savory poté, a tornadoes rossini, a hamburger with foie gras. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do a few simple things. A daube, but we wanted to do it with orange.
With his fans, he made a big impact. 18,000 copies sold in less than 3 weeks.
This is for my daughter, Natalie, who is in San Francisco. Natalie, no stabbing, please, in the dedication. A butcher signing autographs? I'd never have believed it. Personally, I'd never have believed it. I'm really pleased.
A butcher. Become a star, like Michelin-starred chefs or pastry chefs. And who has no hang-ups about appearing on TV, on cultural programs?
I've invited a real star, Hugo Desnoyer, the star of artisan butchery, of course. You were once the butcher at the Élysée Palace, and today you supply the finest Parisian restaurants.
He's also a guest juror on MasterChef.
I'd like to congratulate you both on choosing one of the hardest cuts of lamb to prepare. The saddle, and this dish is particularly successful.
Considered by some food critics to be the best butcher in France, this craftsman specializes in top-of-the-range meat. Gone is the image of the butcher with the bloody apron. With him, the profession has become almost glamorous. Great butcher, but a small local store. Every morning at dawn, Hugo gives priority to his most prestigious customers.
10 kilos of pot-au-feu for Maison Gagnère. 10 kilos of Gagnère pot-au-feu.
Gagnère, but also Ducasse, Robuchon, Alain Passard. All the great starred chefs of the capital who have made his reputation. Despite his fame, the star remains a butcher among his own people, behind his chopping block. Above all, he's passionate about his work. A meat lover.
I love contact and touch. I love the feel of meat, and I love working with meat. That carnal side, that relationship. Also, I'm very tactile about it, so that's what appealed to me when I was young, when I started out, and it still does today, 26 years later. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I'm happy with it.
Is it all meat?
No. It's a noble material. Like wood can be like, I don't know, Diamond, I don't know, but yeah. Red gold somewhere.
Red gold, preciously preserved in a safe deposit box. Nothing but exceptional products made in France. In his butcher shop, 2 cold rooms where 3.5 tons of meat are stored every week.
So we're not winking?
Never. I also like the smell of meat and roots. That's what it is.
Backstage, it's like a beehive. Alongside the boss, 15 employees are busy every day slicing, boning, deveining, or rather, peel the meat, as the butchers say. It took 2 hours to prepare all these packages for the top restaurants in Paris. In this van, over 6,000 euros worth. Some packages are even delivered to the homes of stars such as Catherine Deneuve and Laetitia Casta. On this particular day, Jean Moreau ordered a slab of beef and a veal escalope.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
But Hugo isn't just the butcher to the stars. 5 days a week, he's behind his stall.
So here we have 1 kilo, 8 cents.
At his place, prices soar. Prime rib is 38 euros 85 a kilo. But the butcher's doesn't let up. On Saturday mornings, you have to wait a good 20 minutes before being served.
Vacuum-packed pork loin, guys. Madame, good morning.
His customers. The butcher pampers them. Never stingy with advice. Like roast veal.
You make that in a casserole? Yes, it'll be perfect. You color it well, remove it, a small sliced onion, tomato, shallot, well melted, well sweated. A little drizzle of white wine with salt and pepper. You do this to me for 45 minutes, very gently. Okay? And if necessary, in the last 5 minutes, you can add a little fresh cream.
That's 9. That's 18. That's 1. That's 101 429, please. Thank you very much.
The average bill is 63 euros, but some customers leave with 1,700 euros worth of meat. Enough to fill the freezer for a while.
With and without bones. Thank you very much. I'll get...
Small butchery, but big business. Over 4 million euros a year. That's 8 times more than the average Parisian butcher. It's been a long road for the ambitious lad from the Mayenne region who came to Paris as an apprentice butcher. In 1998, at the age of 27, he set up his own business with a customer he had fallen in love with. Her name is Chris, executive secretary. She left everything behind to become a butcher. And now, Chris is no longer Hugo's partner, but she's still his partner.
Yes, Butcher Desnoyer, hello.
Living with a butcher, you'd think for a woman he's not the dream man.
But no, don't say that. He's handsome, but there you go. But he worked with meat very well. He served it well.
The image of the butcher is no more the man with big cheeks, a little red. With a scary knife, yes, and with an apron full of blood and all.
Thank you. Goodbye, madam. Enjoy your meal. Thank you. Goodbye, madam.
This cliché still sticks to butchers. Hugo suffered from it when he was young. Butcher was the job not to do.
In high school, when I announced to my teachers that I was going into butchery instead of continuing my studies, yes, there was a physics teacher who, in front of all the other students in my class, took me apart. It's true that it marked me because in front of your classmates it hurts, yeah. To be taken for a piece of shit. Basically, that was the message she was implying. And that was it. Today, out of the whole class at the time, that there were in second year at Ambroise Paré where I was, I'm probably the most successful.
Today, at 41, Hugo is taking his revenge. He's playing in the big league.
Thank you, sir.
This lunchtime, he has an appointment with Eric Frechon in a top Parisian palace. 3 Michelin stars.
Hello, chef. How are you? Fine, and you? Very well, thank you. It's heavy, do you mind?
In his bag, the usual order and an unfamiliar piece of beef.
I allowed myself a trick, I don't know if you know it, the palate top. The little beef surprise, in fact. This is in the shoulder of the animal, on the other side of the shoulder blade.
Beef surprise, that's what it's called. Hugo wants to suggest it to the chef for his next menu. In fact, he's here for his final oral exam with tasting test.
I'm afraid you'll find the taste a little bland. It's true that it lacks a little taste. Super melting.
I was expecting something a little more tasty.
It's true that I suspected it in taste. It's sure that it's a bit lacking, yeah. Right then. Rejected.
Fail. But a good loser. Because Hugo knows he'll make up for it with his secret weapon, sweetbreads.
You see, it looks like a whole part on its own. Whereas here we can see that it's a lot of... It's more like agglomerated little pieces in quotation marks, and that's really exceptional. Sweetbreads are made everywhere, but exceptional sweetbreads. That's rare. Have you seen the beauty of these sweetbreads? They're extraordinary.
In front of these large sweetbreads, the chef salivates and can't resist the pleasure of cooking them.
So here, I'm just going to make you a sweetbread. With cocoa nibs, with a licorice coffee juice, and braised in tobacco leaves. And anyway, you'll see any table. I want to tell you what was great about your sweetbreads was that they were crispy and silky on the inside. That's it. a 3-star sweetbread.
This licorice cocoa sweetbread is available on the menu of this top Parisian restaurant at a price of 98 euros. To offer quality to his customers, the artisan butcher doesn't hesitate to get up before chicken time. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, heading for the Limousin countryside, 400 kilometers from Paris. Hugo doesn't just go to Rungis to source his meat. For years now, he's been racking up the miles to find the best animals himself. Those that smell of the terroir.
How are you? Did you have a good trip?
I'm fine.
This
And
morning,
you?
at a limousine breeder's, he has an appointment with Jacques Charpentier, one of his sources, a headhunter of cows. He's the one who does the initial scouting.
There too, Hugo, that'll be good. And that there, but look, that in 2 months.
This one's strong already.
It scared me a little at first when I saw Hugo who said, oh la la, this, that, I want it like that, I want it like that. I showed him some in the fridge. That one, it has a little flaw, it has this, it has that. I said, I'll never be able to serve that guy.
The boss is demanding. He chooses his animals on the hoof. A short selection course.
In fact, you've got the whole side of the beast plus the whole ribeye here. The start of the rump steak. And there you see it, it's superbly rounded, it's well finished. You see the state of fattening on the tail like this. This is one hell of a cocotte, Jacques. I swear to God. She really is. And its skin is very, very thin. It rolls under your fingers like this, and it's really impressive. The leather is very thin. The beast will be the same. There, in fact, you see the grain of the meat, the finesse. Yes, she pees on me too. She loves it. You can see the fineness of the animal's grain.
Here, we're far from intensive breeding. The finishing time, i.e. the fattening time before slaughter, is 3 times longer than for supermarket meat. And to make good meat, Parisian butchers only take 4 to 5-year-old cows that have had several calves. Their muscles have changed. They are fatter. But selecting them is not enough. Quality, it also happens at the slaughterhouse. Hugo remains in love with his protégés right up to the last moment.
Have you seen how they're made? That's a real one. Oh yeah, this one, it grew there. The rear volume, the ass. She has an exceptional back. You've also got to think about yield. We're also, well, this is an exceptional animal.
These cows will be slaughtered in a few hours. In the meantime, to de-stress them after the journey, they are treated to classical music. A small luxury that has its importance.
It's true that the results are much better. You know, when you slaughter animals under stress, there are often problems with, we call it muscle fever. The muscle turns purple, purplish. It sticks a little. And then there are no more problems like that, because the animal is de-stressed.
On today's program, Mozart's Requiem, the last manufacturing secret is hidden here, in the cold rooms of the slaughterhouse, where the butcher ages his meats like a fine wine. 4 weeks of maturation for the carcasses, compared to an average of 1 week elsewhere.
But I'd like to see the color, just to be sure.
But even here, it's not all over yet. Last test, the color.
What color
One
should
color,
it be?
one background, a crimson red. You see, a red, here, we've just cut it. I don't know if it really shows. Here you can see that it's going to be purple red. Because we've just cut it, it's still very fresh. You have to let it rest. But it's going to pick up color again. So it's going to be a real crimson red, cherry red. Because the beast is ripe. They say it's ripe. And here it's true that, in addition, the marbling shows that it's got little dots of marbling in the nut. It's very fatty on the side, right on the border between the rib and the rib eye. I like that because fat is taste.
And when the red isn't cherry enough, the expert rejects the meat. But today, apparently, it's to his liking. He'll set aside 5 carcasses at 3,800 euros each. 7 in the morning. The next day, the selected carcasses arrive at the butchers. And the first customers too. In his store, it's not unusual to bump into celebrities. That day, Pierre Arditi, the actor, likes to come early in the morning to buy his meat and have a chat. He knows all the staff. He feels at home here.
Madame likes veal chops, though. She likes veal chops.
We'll have the veal chops. What do you use to make your tartare?
With rump steak. It can be a piece of the sole, what we call the sole. That's because it stays rare, too. An interesting fondant. After that, you can add rump steak, you can go up a range, but already, a tasty morsel in between that's still melt in the mouth or minced, that's good.
I'm fascinated by this kind of work. When I was much younger, you weren't born yet. But when I walked past it, it made me hungry right away. The butcher's shop.
Some people would say meat, blood. I don't see it that way at all.
When I see beautiful meat, it makes me hungry.
It's not beneath you to do a job like that. On the contrary, it's very difficult. There are lots of people who couldn't do it, starting with me.
That's just the way it is.
This know-how, however, is being lost.
Thank you all.
Today, the profession is short of manpower. Several weeks ago, the popular butcher had a tumultuous outburst in the media. He was the spokesman for an entire craft. How many workers do you think are needed in today's butchering industry?
4,000 positions remain unfilled in France, and more widely in all food sectors, including catering, bakery, and delicatessen. That's tens of thousands of people.
To attract young people, Hugo decided to pay them handsomely.
Would you like to surprise me after this one?
Stéphane is the latest arrival
You take
at the
it away
butcher
for me
shop.
to chop it up, you keep the piece for me, you really put the heart of the surprise into it?
He works 42 hours a week, but his salary is commensurate, not to mention the benefits.
I get room and board, and I earn 2,300 euros net per month. And I've just started, I'm 21. I have 8 weeks paid leave.
On average, an apprentice butcher starts at 1,500 euros net. At Hugo's, salaries range from 2,300 to 4,500, depending on seniority. The boss pays himself 7,000 euros a month. When you work at the top end of the market, of course, you've got to pay well.
780 grams, how's that?
His small business knows no crisis. Today, like a major luxury brand, Hugo's meat is exported abroad. And in Paris with Chris, his partner. He has just bought a butcher's shop because he has a crazy project. A childhood dream he hopes to achieve with his architect friend.
It's huge, it's huge. In fact, in the butcher's shop itself, we're going to create a sort of little island where we can have lunch, taste, give demonstrations, and teach people as well. It's magnificent what's been done there. And even give butchery classes. Right in the butcher's shop.
A butcher's tasting room. With the idea, once again, of restoring the nobility to the butcher's trade.